want to do a really quick flip of a keepings journal that I made in 2011. This journal is 11 by 8.5, bound on the sides here, and it's similar to a junk journal. I was not doing junk journals at that time. My channel was not even in existence when I made this journal, and I was looking through it, and I was thinking, man, I need to go in and attach some of these loose papers. But I was looking at them, and I thought, you know, I have a lot of things here. 2011 was just 6 years ago, and I have a lot of things in here that remind me of those times. So I'm going to, in the next few days, go in and attach things down and keep it in my keepings journal. I made these little epoxy initials here, M. There's a snowflake here. It just needs to be attached. I have a little envelope with a little note card in there. Nothing in there. This was some oranges, but I love that tag. I love the graphics on it. Dairy Queen product. I think this was like a carrier box. I tore it apart. Party Light tissue. This was a letter with instructions for a swap. This was from a breadstick sack at Olive Garden. I did an art doll swap with a group that I don't even think is in existence anymore, but this was the pattern. I lived in Wisconsin at that time, and this is a menu and sort of a newsletter of the Railroad Depot restaurant. My friends and I had an outing there one day, and I thought that was a cool menu, so I kept it. A McDonald's sack, and I thought, why did I keep this? But I was sketching a idea for a scissors ornament, a Christmas ornament, and I think I actually worked this up into a pattern. Receipts. Here's an ad for an antique show. And this is an actual antique shop receipt. I actually spent $20.84, but I think I have another one where I spent $38.85. I like to keep these. See, what did I get? Little Arby's drive-through. I think I went on an outing, antique outing then. A little photo mat. Map of Wisconsin, and here's a die cut of Wisconsin. And I put Wisconsin, summer of 2011, Madison, kind of journaled around the edge there. And I have a Buy Local sticker here. I think I'll take this out and actually attach it. Some sandwich toothpicks. This was a fun pocket to make. This is a transparency, a printed transparency, and then I stitched it on my machine before I bound these pages. And then on the back is, I'm sure it's a Tim Holtz, if I remember right. Yes, it's a Tim Holtz craft paper resist page. Really like that. This was a photograph of my patio, and then I just journaled down here a little bit about my summer. I spent a lot of time out on that patio having coffee in the morning. Some tags that I made. I actually stitched this pocket to the page then. I was experimenting with stitching paper on my little machine. Bucky Badger popcorn, that was pretty good. This is attached down. Archivers still had their brick and mortar store, and I would go over there several times and sit and work in their guest workroom. I was on a bowling team, and I liked chocolate. You'll see I have a lot of scrap paper pages in here. I should just go in here and start attaching some of these down. Thrift store, survey. Here's another Stop and Shop. This was at Spring Green, I believe. There's a really neat quilt store there. McDonald's packet there. A postal receipt. Country Woman magazine. It was telling me I got a free issue. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? I like this scrapbook paper. Needlework show that I was interested in. Now I'm getting to where I want to talk about using the cross-stitch charts as pages. And I think that I have several of these in here. I really like that. I'm going to leave this one. Here's another scrapbook paper. Another menu. This is a coffee shop that I would go to in the mornings. I enjoyed that coffee shop. Kept the menu. Another menu of a sandwich shop where I'd meet friends for lunch. Here's what I'm talking about. These cross-stitch charts. I'm looking for glue book fodder. And I have a lot of cross-stitch charts like this. But they're in storage, and I'm thinking I'm going to I haven't used these pages in this book, and this book is quite thick. I think that I'm going to remove some of these pages and use them in my glue books. You could take out 3 or 4 of these pages and fold them in half and have a really nice signature in a glue book. And I think that's what I'm going to do. Some of these pages in here I just did not get around to using. This is another scrapbook page. I'm thinking I'm just going to take them out. In fact, I think I'll do it now while I'm talking about it, and there's just no stopping me. And I think I'm going to leave the edges here where it's been punched as a part of the fun of the glue book. This, of course, is scrapbook paper. But I've been wanting some of this, and I was at that book sale a couple weekends ago, and they had cross-stitch magazines, and I don't know why I didn't pick any up for use as a glue book. Isn't this pretty? I think this has, yes, I've used this. I went to a concert with some friends. We went to the Jersey Boys. That was a fun concert. Here we were at a restaurant, and I saved the menu again. This is still the restaurant menu. Here's the program at the Jersey Boys. I have a paper clip on here to keep it shut. Gift shop. I think that's in Spring Green again. Here's another one of these charts. I'm just going to remove these because I've been wanting them. This is, I believe, Tim Holtz papers, but I have used this. A trip to Joann's, some candy, Wisconsin cheese and wine chalet. Wisconsin has a lot of cheese houses. I miss those. I drove down to Missouri to visit some of my needlework friends, and I stopped at one of these cheese and wine chalets to get them some cheese, some Wisconsin cheese as a gift to take down there. Java Junction. This was from my trip to Iowa. The Amana colonies. Traveling on I-80. I've made that trip many, 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 many times. These are memories for me. This is what a keepings book is. And you would think, oh, what do you need that for? Six years past, 7 years, 8 years, 10 years, and you look back and then you think, oh yeah. And it's kind of like revisiting those trips and those things that you did 10 years ago. This was an antique mall that I would frequent there in Columbus. Really cool antique mall. Fun to go to. This was a prototype of, I was in a needle book swap. And I really do like this. I never finished it. I need to bind the edges here. I really do like the different fabrics that I used on this needle book. And then I have well, I guess it's on this one. I was going to put a felt liner in it to keep the needles, but where I stopped on it was, this is round, and I cut this a little bit too big, and the corners stuck out. So I set it down and never picked it up again. I could make another felt liner. I should, but I did something different. I picked up probably another set of fabric to finish my needle book. But I look at this now and I go, wow, you know, this is kind of cool. I do like this. This was upholstery fabric. I believe this was like curtain material. More upholstery fabric, I believe, on the back. And here's that. Oh, I miss the gaffer tape. Really, it's a very strong adhesive tape. And it's made out of cloth. Gaffer tape. It's not a washi tape at all. But I do love this tape. I wish I could find it again. And Seven Gypsies made it, and they've since discontinued, I think, making this gaffer tape. I miss that product. I have a few rows of it left that I'm hoarding. Here's documenting my trip down to St. Louis. And I sat and I stitched with my needlework friends, and this is an actual pattern that was passed out to the attendees, and on the back is the chart for this sampler, and this is what I stitched. And I just used whatever I had in my bag at the time. I didn't try to hunt up the threads. And that is what I stitched that weekend, and I thought it would be very fun to put in my Keepings art journal. And then I have some of these epoxy stickers that I wrote Stitch. I did a lot of needlework back in those days. I don't do quite as much now. I'm doing a lot of artwork now. And then here is also documenting the trip. A map to the place there. And I took a cross-stitch magazine, just cross-stitch. And it was the ornament issue. And it was just the flyer advertising it. And I made a tag out of it. Just fun things to do, and this is a map to where I was going in St. Louis. I'm not going to pull this out, and just email telling the dates and times. And that's the end of my Keepings journal. To me, that's what a Keepings journal is. You could call these scrapbooks, and they probably did back in the 30s and 40s. I call them scrapbooks. I like calling them Keepings journals. Meridel Abrams, her Keepings. This was 2011. I also have one that matches this that is 2012, but here again I don't have it with me. It looks like some of my embellishment fell off here, but that's okay. I love how it ages. And I pulled out some papers that I'm going to use in my glue books. That's really why I got this out, and I thought, well, I should do a flip of it. So that's all that I have to share today. I have a lot of other projects that I want to work on. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe if you enjoy my videos, and I will see you on the next page.